my city. Well, you took me by.
Welcome everyone to another week with Honeybees. We are the Teach Talk show that collaborates on empowering truth. And today I have a spiritual tidbit for you before I get into my PJ's public service announcements. So first, I have not been addressing the fact that we should keep God first, and I want to do that today. And I will remind everybody that when I took over the show a couple months ago, God gave me a few theme verses, and those are Hosea 4:6, where he said, "My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge." And it also says, because we reject knowledge, he rejects us from being priests for him. So I never want to reject his knowledge of him, his word, his power, and what he has given us in the earth. So also Isaiah 50 verse 4 that says, "My Lord, the Lord, has given me the tongue of the learned, that I should know how to speak a word in a season to him who is weary." Well, that's a big deal to me. And I want to make sure that he awakens me in the morning, and I am awakened to listen to him, and that I never turn back from that. And then also Habakkuk 2 verse 14 says, "For the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the Lord and his glory." And things like this that we're going to talk about today are to his glory, because he gives wisdom for witty inventions. And so his wisdom is, and his knowledge is, and his glory is to cover more than the waters of the sea. So I'm going to introduce my guests in just a minute, but I have a couple of public service announcements real quick. Please consider donating to Banners for Freedom. We have gotten approval for 7 locations for our message to be put up here in Vegas Valley about the COVID-19 jab injuries. This is a very small number of how many cases there really are. In fact, there's 11 reporting agencies. The VAERS is the only one that some people have heard of, and they're only getting 1%. At the max, 10% of cases of people being injured by the jabs are even being reported. This number was as of January 1st, and it's already gone up to almost 1,001,000 now. So please go to Banners for Freedom and make sure your donation is designated to the Las Vegas billboards. Be sure to let them know that you want to contribute the funds to the banners here. So thank you very much for that. And excited. I've been wanting these people on since I first began. Lois and Bill Cadwallader. There's a school named after you, isn't there? Cadwallader. It's a middle school, isn't it?
Yes, but it's not named after us.
It's not named after you?
But I met the person who it was named after.
Oh, I thought maybe he's part of your family.
Probably 100 years ago.
100 years ago. Well, what we have here is StopDirtyElectricity.com. It's a big deal that we're being exposed and poisoned by radiation and electromagnetic fields and by Wi-Fi and things like that. So the Lois has been a lifelong educator, and she has co-authored books with her husband Bill. He is a Marine Lieutenant Colonel, if I read that right.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
How long did you serve in the Marines?
28 years.
28 years.
And most of the time was reserve. So I was active duty for a little less than 3, and the rest of it was reserve.
Wow, you stuck it out after doing the time, though. Right. That's wonderful. My last guest was a 2-time Marine in the Iraq War. So wow. I like to make sure we honor our vets. It's very important. So also, he is a certified electromagnetic radiation specialist. Say that 3 times fast. So, and what he has created is an EMF biocompatibility test. So tell me what this test is. How long does it take? Just give us an overview of what that test looks like.
Sure. So in the radiation business, think of the power of 3. There's 3 radiations through the air: Wi-Fi, wireless, and Bluetooth, commonly called RF. Those are the ones we have to watch out for and try to minimize. And then there's 3 radiations from the wires. So any type of wires that you have plugged in. So again, power of 3, there's electric radiation, magnetic radiation, and what's called dirty electricity. And so the EMF biocompatibility test for dirty electricity filters has to do with that type of radiation, and it's the only type of radiation they actually make a filter for.
Interesting.
And so there's, I have up to 9 filters. So normally we test people with 5 different filters. It only takes 5 minutes.
Wow, 5
And
minutes.
just in the kitchen, and we just determine which filter is the best for a person. Because every single household has different frequencies on their wires, and every person is different. So people will either feel good, a neutral feeling, or a bad feeling. So again, we size the filter to that particular person,
Interesting.
and then we reduce what's called dirty electricity, and it's one of the 6 types of radiation, one of the 3 on the wires.
Interesting. So within 5 minutes, the person will feel the filter.
Actually, the whole test takes 5 minutes with 5 filters, but it's 5 to 15 seconds the person will feel either better, neutral, or worse.
Interesting.
In 5 to 15, that's how powerful this is. Normally, we want a level of 50 in a home, in a non-sleeping area, and in a sleeping area, we want 30 or less.
Okay.
So normally in Las Vegas, I'll find 1900.
Oh my goodness.
1900, 1700,
There's
1500.
2 boxes in the room I'm sleeping in my
Yeah.
daughter's house.
Yeah.
Oh my
And so what happens is that's why someone feels so much better, is because when you put in a filter, you're dropping it from 1900 or 2000 all the way down to 150 or something like that.
Wow, that's
And then another
fascinating.
filter will get it down to 50 or something like that. And they're pretty inexpensive. They're only $29. And
Very affordable.
and you can just plug them into the outlets. And normally we recommend that someone would use I have actually a meter here, a couple of meters.
Oh,
So there's a couple of different meters that they make, and what happens is you plug this in, look at the number, plug in a filter. Once we did the biocompatibility test, make sure it's the right filter. Just like anything, makeup and everything. People react differently to it.
right,
Same
sure.
thing with this. And then you just go around the house wherever someone sits, sleeps, and stands, and within 6 to 8 feet. So you don't care about the garage, you just walk into the garage, or a hallway,
Yeah.
you're just sort of walking.
Where we
but it's
spend
where
time.
yeah, and it's really inexpensive.
so 10 ways you can reduce radiation exposure now. This is just things that people can do themselves, right?
Right, and this has to do with the wireless radiation. So there's
Okay.
3 types of wireless radiation we're concerned with: Wi-Fi, wireless, and Bluetooth, commonly called RF. And so in this pamphlet, it's actually at stopdirtyelectricity.com. It's free, anyone can download it. Free of charge, and it's 10 things they can do very, very quickly. And like the first one is, let me just read it to you. It says, electronic devices, including chargers, clocks, as far away as possible at night to reduce radiation through the air from wires. So normally we don't want you to charge anything on your nightstand.
Right.
So move everything off, move it into the bathroom or something like that. 19 out of 20 people do that. And what most people don't know is when you have a cell phone, it has Wi-Fi and wireless and Bluetooth. And if you just sit it down here, every 6 to 30 seconds, even if you're not on a call or texting, it goes out and tries to find the nearest cell tower, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi device. And it's thousands of times the safe level.
Oh my goodness.
Thousands of times the safe level. I have a phone here. I can actually, I don't know if this is an appropriate time, but I can actually measure
I
a
would
phone
love to see.
and sort of see, Laura.
I would love to see what
sort
it
of-
measures out.
Yeah, and let me just turn on.
I know not to talk on my phone. I hate I can feel it in my ear. I've never been able to use Bluetooths or anything like that. They hurt. They literally hurt.
Yeah. So there is a certain part of the population who are becoming even more sensitive. It sounds like you're becoming a little more sensitive, and with those type of people, you need to be more careful. Now, it's affecting everyone. All this radiation is affecting everyone. There's over 5,000 studies, and there's only about 30 of us who are certified electromagnetic radiation specialists in the entire U.S.
Wow, 30 specialists
performing,
nationwide.
working full-time. Working
bet.
full-time. There are
Sure.
some people who are working part-time. And so what we want to do is lower the Wi-Fi, wireless, and Bluetooth as much as possible.
Well, they're getting ready to take it from 3.5 gigahertz to 60 with the 5G.
Yeah, the 5G, it's going up even higher, and anytime you have a faster signal on your phone, it means more radiation. And so, yes, the 5G, they're putting it's actually in most parts of Las Vegas now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're just going to look at this meter. So in this room, because of this phone, I'm measuring 24,000. But if I put the phone on here, meter, then you can see it's 34,000 right now.
Oh my goodness.
So, and we want you in the low hundreds.
In the low hundreds.
Yeah,
There's
and it's 34,000 right there with that particular phone.
Yeah, so don't keep it in your
Yeah.
pocket. Don't keep it. Girls that put them inside their
don't do
shirts and their bras, don't do that. Don't put your phone next to your body at all. Shouldn't even be putting it up to your ear. Like I said, I hate talking on the phone. and just use the speaker phone as much as possible is very important. And then you guys also okay. First, I want to back up. There's 5 filters. You said
5 different types of dirty electricity filters, and they work just for dirty electricity. So
Okay, and then
they
what
wouldn't
other-
work with the phone.
I see.
Wi-Fi, wireless, and Bluetooth.
so. What kind of protection do you recommend for the phone?
So on the phone, what we normally do, and in this 10 things, what we have is we say airplane mode on, so number 3, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are off, and turn airplane mode on.
I
So
see.
whenever carrying your phone, and make sure you turn airplane mode on, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi off, and then it's completely safe. You can carry it with you. So Lois does hiking up in Red Rock,
Oh, interesting. So
She-
just by turning off the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth
and
and
airplane
turning
mode
it
on.
airplane mode,
Yeah.
it's helps make it safe to keep
Yeah,
it close
all the
to
radiation is dropped
But
almost
you
to
will
zero.
not get any transmission. So when you're
Right.
when you're done carrying it on your body, then you've got to check it, and you'll get ding, ding, ding.
Right.
It'll all come to you.
Just
when
turn
you
the
turn back
airplane.
the-
Yeah,
correct.
turn the airplane mode off. So airplane mode works on the phone and the text. Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi and Bluetooth is Bluetooth. So when you turn it back on again, or turn the airplane mode off, then all your text
It'll
messages will
automatically
come,
come back.
all your phone
I see.
messages, all
Great.
your voicemail. So when Lois is hiking out in Red Rock, what she'll do is she'll have her phone like that. You can still take pictures and videos, and then every so often just turn that on and see if you have any messages.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So there's different ways that it says that you do measurement, detection, protection. So there's remediation, which is these things you're telling us about. But tell us about measurements. Is it all like a meter like this?
Yeah, so what happens is in the measurement area, there's 6 types of measurements that we do. We do 3 through the air. So this particular meter, and they actually have a residential meter, which is about $158. That someone can actually do yourself. This is more of a professional meter, and it'll measure Wi-Fi, wireless, and Bluetooth. Those are the radiations through the air. So the radiations on the wire, there's 3 types. There's electric, magnetic, and dirty electricity. So these 2 meters measure dirty electricity. And then I have another meter, I didn't bring it with me, that would measure magnetic and electric. So
What causes the magnetic and electric? The other that not the Wi-Fi.
So electricity in and of itself is basically none of your wires in your wall are shielded. It comes all out 6 to 8 feet.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and it's electric radiation. And if something is off but plugged in, you have electric radiation. Once you turn on a light, then you have electric and magnetic. So once you have the flow of electricity, then you get magnetic
Oh,
fields.
interesting.
And the magnetic fields have been tied to cancer and a number of health issues, leukemia, childhood leukemia. And the electric normally tend to disturb your sleep. So so when we come out to a house, I send out a questionnaire to them. And then when we get there, we fill that out. It has to do with health issues, but just what the house is about and what they're about. And then what we do is we do an outside measurement outside the house to get the ambient levels, north, south, east, west. So what's it outside the house, in the front and the back and the sides. And then once I have those numbers, then I come inside and then we start to measure where you sit, stand, and sleep. So we would go up to where a person sleeps and we would measure the electric, magnetic, and what's called dirty electricity. And then with this particular meter, we would measure the Wi-Fi, wireless, and Bluetooth. And what we try to do is reduce all those as much as possible. Our standards are based on the German building biology. So I'm adjunct faculty to the building biology.
Oh yes, I did see that building biology. Do they? Where is their center?
So
Education center?
it's in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And to be certified, I'm a certified electromagnetic radiation specialist. There's 15 courses over about 2 years. And that's what it takes to get certified. And so what I do is I help out on some of the in-person classes. So we have 3 classes that you have to attend in person. And then we have labs with those. So I present as well as I help out with the labs. We have 2 primary instructors that go through all the lectures, and but that's where it's located.
So would you recommend that people look into? I mean, don't want to make competition for you, but I'm sure there's plenty of work in this field.
Sure.
Excuse the pun.
Yeah.
Frequency fields. That's what we're talking about. Frequency fields. I'm very much. I use frequency patches. I'm drinking my thyroid right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, these are LifeWave.
Oh, okay.
And they do all. There's different ones for different things, but
Great.
it's all about frequency. I mean, people are learning that the precursor to the physical is energy, and this is in the energy field. And of course, we know that the precursor to energy is spirit, and hopefully, it's holy.
So people and they have all different levels. If you don't want to become certified but just want some, they have 2 or 3 levels of education. So if someone says, I just want to know more about this and help myself, my family, and my pets, there's a level. And then there's also a level that's more of a professional level that we get into, where the 15 courses. And if someone then wants to get more into that. And we do have a final project, so a number of times I'll act as a mentor. So we take people through on actually how to do the home, how to measure it correctly. And for me, I spend 25% of the time measuring, but then I spend 75% fixing it right on the spot. So that's the most important thing is, and I carry a number of simple things. Let me just show you one thing here. Here's a little bag, and this is just made out of material with copper and copper and silver threads. And so when I started in 2012, a lot of people would turn off their routers. But almost no one turns off their Wi-Fi router now, because their security system is hooked to it.
Right.
You know, their
Netflix.
Netflix, everything. So it's hard.
My grandson's games.
Yeah, all that stuff is hooked up to it. And so at this point in time, what we do is we try to minimize it as much as possible. So this just opens up, and this is about, I think, $49 or $44.
And you said it's copper and aluminum?
Copper and silver threads.
And silver threads.
Copper.
Okay, I was gonna say,
not
healthy
no,
for us, is
not
it?
aluminum.
No. Silver. Now,
Yeah, and so
I do
this.
silver sprays under my tongue.
Oh yeah. And so this
Colloidal
just
silver is
opens
very good
up,
for our immune system.
and let me get it open.
Which end does open? This one.
There.
Oh, there it is. Oh, there it
There we
is.
go.
Yeah, it takes the host to figure this out. And so what happens is you
I get
just.
to be part engineer.
There you go. What you do is you just slip this over a router.
Oh.
So you still get a signal, but they designed the routers to go 3, 4, 5 houses from yours. So they're so much more, powerful.
Right.
So when I put this meter on top of a router, we had about 34,000 here.
Right.
It's 2.5 million.
Oh my goodness! So your router is putting out 2.5 million gigahertz.
Microwatts per meter squared.
Oh my goodness, that is
and we want you in the hundreds.
Like that's like taking your blood and just.
Yeah. Yeah,
just-
yeah. It's a huge problem. And so by putting something like this over it, it'll drop it to maybe 10 or 5 or, and then since your head isn't on it, as you come away, it gets less and less as well. So that works out well. But just to show you an example, I was in a home and they had the router, about 3 feet away, 4 feet away. And then they had a kitchen table. Where the son was doing his homework on the kitchen table, it was 140,000 microwatts per meter squared.
Oh my!
And so we put some material on it, got it down, and I forgot we got it down into the low hundreds, into the hundreds just by doing that.
In a safe range.
Yeah, in a safer range.
Yes.
Yeah, and so this is great for things. And actually, I've put these over Alexa as well.
Oh,
So
that
the
makes
little
sense.
Alexa that you call
Yes.
up and things like that, they put out a lot of radiation, actually even more than a phone. So
Interesting.
depending upon where it is, it works. And just something I read just before I came in. So we try to have people not use Alexa, but if they have it, we actually put it on a remote control switch. You know, they only cost $11 out of Home Depot. You plug the Alexa in, then you plug this in the wall, plug the Alexa in, and then with the remote control, you can keep Alexa off most of the time. And then when you want to ask the weather, you just turn it on. You know, it's just a little remote control.
Interesting. So
But
that way it's not giving off the
Radiation all the time. But they just said that you should never put it next to a window. Someone outside your house can then call into Alexa. Alexa hears it, and they can unlock your car,
Oh my goodness.
unlock your
Who would have
doors.
thought?
And so
Who would have thought?
again, we recommend that you don't have one, or if you have one, you
Yeah.
turn it off most of the time. But they said don't put it near a window because someone could just call through the window and all of a sudden control things
Wow.
into your house. And I just got back from the Consumer Electronics Show here in town.
yeah.
So there were over 2,000 booths there. And almost all of them have a Wi-Fi, wireless, and Bluetooth component. And they're linking everything in a house.
Right.
Everything in a house from, you know, turn that light bulb on to turn it off. And Lois and I, about a year ago, they had a smart bulb in this home, and they had cameras inside the home. So I would never have a camera inside my home, ever. But people do have it. And so they had a video of it. Someone hacked into the system through a smart light bulb, and they're watching the daughter in her bedroom.
Oh my goodness. Oh my.
In her bedroom.
So somebody just picked up the signal from the light bulb?
They
Or how
hacked
did they
into
know?
the light bulb had a hole in it, you know, like a bug. And so they knew about the bug and they hacked into the light bulb. Once they got into the light bulb, they could get into the entire home of the system.
That's
Because
scary.
they're all connected.
How scary is
And
that?
so we always recommend you have minimum smart devices in your home. And someone will say, well, how do I know if it's a smart device?
Well, yes, there's a couple books that you guys wrote, right, Lois?
Lists, you can't even imagine how many smart devices you may not even be aware. So both of our books actually have a
Yes.
detailed, a comprehensive list.
Yes, I was noticing
the
this on
back.
your website.
Yeah.
This is Quick and Easy EMF Guide, 99 Tips to Lower Exposure to Harmful Electromagnetic Radiation. This includes the dangers of 5G and smart devices. I highly recommend that you go on the website, which is stopdirtyelectricity.com, and that you order this 99 tips. Everyone needs to have this and do this yesterday.
And actually, I was the co-author, and Lois wrote that. I was the technical expert, and she wrote it for a lady. You know,
Oh,
for a
this is
lady, you don't
great.
need any technical.
Right.
You know, it's all.
Yeah, keep it to
It's
the
all
minimum.
100% correct, but there's no reason to put technical.
Comprehensive
mumbo
home
jumbo.
safety audit. How do you do? Someone could do their own audit.
Yep.
A little equals a lot. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
That's in nutrition. People always say, "Oh, just keep it." What was the famous line in everything in moderation?
Yeah.
I say, yeah, you could have just one Twinkie and just one cookie and just one all day long. You still had nothing but junk.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so this is great. So identifying potential sources of radiation through the air and your wires. I mean, this is really important for my grandson. My grandson's a gamer, and he's already learning coding and all that. He's got two. He's got a screen this big and another big screen in his room. He's got all kinds of stuff in there. We're gonna take a break in just a minute here, and we'll come back and we'll talk more about this other book, Exposed, and another public service announcement I have for you. Somewhere we'll throw that in, and come right back in just a minute.
Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be. So let's bring the community together, and let's bring the world to you. Join us now. We've reached the age of live streaming on social media shows. You may ask, we're already ahead of the curve, so why do you need to advertise with us? Well, only 8% of the businesses in the US are using digital advertising to grow their business. That's 2 percentage points short of reaching critical mass, which will lead to faster results. We have 20 plus shows with a reach of over 80,000. We'll give you commercial ads, website link, and connections to nonprofit organizations. So get your brand ready for digital monetization, for we are looking for sponsors, which will bring more traffic to your business and ultimately mean more sales. So let's bring the world to you. Inquire now.
Blowing through my city, well, you took me by.
Welcome back to Honeybees. We are the Teach Talk show that collaborates on empowering truths. I have Lois and Bill Cadwallader with me today, and we've been talking about how exposed we are to radiation and electromagnetic frequencies that are not healthy for us in all the smart devices and all your phones and all your routers and everything throughout the house are giving off a lot of really bad frequencies that are not healthy for our bodies and to protect your family. So we were just talking about the quick and easy EMF guide. That's 99 tips to lower exposure to harmful electromagnetic radiation. And this even includes the dangers of 5G and smart devices. This was written by Lois, so us women can understand it. And it's very important that you all go onto dirtyelectricity.com and get that one. And then also, Bill, you published this book called Exposed, Electronic Sickening of America and How to Protect Yourself. Say that again to yourself. The electronic sickening of America. And we wonder why cancer is so prevalent. We wonder why all these autoimmune diseases are so prevalent, why all these people are susceptible to the viruses, and why, really, I feel like we have at least 5 epidemics in this country. You know, heart disease, cancer, stroke, diabetes, all these different things. And nutrition helps, your mindset helps, but also protecting yourself from radiation poisoning helps. And so Exposed, the Electronic Sickening of America, How to Protect Yourself. This can also be found on dirtyelectricity.com.
Or Amazon. They're on Amazon as well.
Oh, wonderful.
They're on Amazon.
And the small book is actually in Spanish now.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Available in
wonderful. I
Spanish.
did see that on the website. And the other thing that we've that Bill mentioned to us is this is a copper and silver lined bag, mesh bag, that you want to be able to put your over your router and over things that you can't unplug. So when you're sleeping, you'll be able to sleep better and your cells in your body will be more protected. That can be found on lessemf.com, and it's called a signal tamer. So I think we all need some signal tamers, and that's from at lessemf.com. Now, we were talking about the phones and how they emit radiation when they're sitting, and share with us the difference between the phone activated and when it's just sitting.
Yeah, so sitting, we saw about 34,000 on this particular phone. Wi-Fi and Bluetooth were on, and the wireless was on, connecting to a cell tower. But then when immediately, if you get a phone call, it'll go up to over 1 million, sometimes 2.5 million. So that's why in the little brochure, 10 ways, we talk about whenever possible, use your phone in speaker mode.
Yes.
So any little distance helps you with this. And just to let you know how powerful these are, within 18 months, Lois and I had 6 friends that all developed a glioblastoma tumor right where they held the phone.
Right. My oldest daughter's best friend in high school died right after high school from a tumor right where she held her phone.
Yeah, and I have on my presentation, if you go out to my YouTube channel, Stop Dirty Electricity, then I put my latest PowerPoint presentation out there, and you'll see like the Netherlands and England and Denmark and even the US, how they doubled and tripled the glioblastoma multiform tumors in just a short period of time, which is crazy. I mean, that shouldn't happen.
Right.
But it's just the use of the phone. It's just crazy.
They don't make them safe, they just make them work.
Yeah, and I did want to mention, in the back of the book, we have lists of Wi-Fi and wireless devices that you can avoid. But also, when you're going to order, when you're going to buy something, a new appliance, always ask the person, can I control it with my smartphone? If you can control it with your smartphone, then it has a Bluetooth or Wi-Fi connection or wireless connection. So
that's
try
gonna
to
be putting
avoid
off even
those.
more.
Yeah, try to avoid those like appliances. Recently, we bought some kitchen appliances, so I went online and made sure they didn't have any Wi-Fi or Bluetooth
Interesting.
in it. And
Everything's
so,
becoming part of the Internet of Things.
yeah, and when I
They
was
want
at
us connected in every way.
when I went out to the Consumer Electronics Show, there was like a number counting up. And it said over 3 billion Internet of Things now connected. And these are just devices people have that can actually, it connects on their own. And the
Wow.
population of the world is less than 8 million, but it's going up and up and up. It's just so much radiation out there.
You know, what is particularly disturbing is you see baby products. You want to tell her
Yes.
some of the baby products that
Yeah.
you saw at CES?
Yeah, good point, Lois. So on the PowerPoint that you can go out and see, when I give a presentation, I've been a featured speaker at the annual cancer convention in LA multiple times, doctor symposium as well. And so I have a slide and I put it up, and it's a baby bottle, but it has Bluetooth in it. So now the baby is clutching a mini cell tower right here.
Oh my goodness.
And people
Why
say-
do they have a bottle with Bluetooth?
Because it tells the parent the temperature and if it's how full it is. Can't you go
Oh
out
my
and
goodness.
look yourself?
Oh my goodness.
But wait, there's more.
And then I say, can it get worse than that? Then I put up another slide. It's a baby with a diaper, and there's a device on it to tell the parent when the diaper is wet. Now they've wrapped a cell antenna tower around their abdomen.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you'll say, it can't get any worse than that. Then I put up a pacifier. The pacifier is Bluetooth. Now they're sucking on a pacifier that has radiation in it. They're sucking on a cell tower. And it to tell the parent what the temperature of the child is.
Oh my goodness.
All on their cell phone.
So we're becoming so smart that we're stupid. We're becoming so smart that we're stupid. That we
Yeah.
don't know what we're putting into our bodies just so that we can have more convenience.
Yes.
It's all about convenience.
It's
for
all
the-
about
for
convenience.
and throwing away the protection of our health and
Yeah.
ourselves.
And I did want to mention that when I speak, I have a chart I put up, colorectal cancer. 65 and below, it's actually dropping. Oh, okay. 20 to 49, it's going up.
Laptops.
And where do guys carry their
Oh,
phone?
yes.
Where do ladies carry their phone? In their back pocket.
Yeah.
And it's not a brick. Every 6 to 30 seconds, it goes off, trying to reach the nearest cell tower, Bluetooth or Wi-Fi device, thousands of times the safe
So
level.
let's repeat that just because this is thought provoking. Colorectal cancer has gone up and is rising in the 20 to 49 age range, but yet dropping in people
65
older,
and below.
65 and below. And that's where people are keeping their phones, is in their back pocket. So I would say it's not a good idea to keep your phone in your back pocket.
Or turn airplane mode on.
Or turn airplane mode on.
Bluetooth and Wi-Fi
put it
off when it's on your body.
There we go. Okay.
Completely
that's right.
safe. And
That was-
again, you can
that's right
download
here.
this.
Yeah.
This is okay.
You can download this from Stop Dear Electricity, the digital form,
Yes, make sure you do this right away today.
free of charge.
We'll stop and give you a minute right now. No, but everybody needs to have this report. I mean, there's 11 ways in here, right?
Yeah. We
11
threw in a
ways.
bonus.
A bonus
The
tip. It says 10
baby
ways,
monitor.
but there's it's very
Oh,
important. So
baby monitors are terrible.
what to move, what to always do, what to turn off, remove the router, replace what things you can replace, things to turn on, leave the room when the microwave is going. Oh, when my daughters were teenagers, I was going through one of my kinesiology classes, and I was given pictures of what potato and milk and water looked like before and after being microwaved. and I was reading, German reports about how bad microwaves were. So I put the microwave out at the curb for trash, and my daughters tried to sneak it back in.
Oh.
They were so upset I was getting rid of the microwave, and they brought it back in, and they tried to hide it on the floor in the dining room behind my cabinet in a corner but it was on carpeting. So they went to use it, and it zapped. And I was like, well, see, one way or another, we're getting rid of this microwave.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying not to use it for much of anything anymore. And I really recommend people don't.
And on my YouTube, the most watched video is Step Away from the Microwave.
Step away from the microwave.
So we have another meter like this. It's more of the $159 meter, the residential meter you could actually buy and get the same information.
Yeah.
So I turn it on and I keep walking through. Kitchen, hallway, living room, another hallway, and I'm 40 feet away, and it's still not quite safe.
Really? 40 feet away from your microwave is still not safe.
So not 100% safe. So just turn it on and get as far away, and always remember the pets. Where are the pets? So when I go into a house, a lot of times they'll be next to the smart TV or next to the router. They'll be sleeping. So we always measure where the pets sleep and try to move those. The cancer in dogs have just gone crazy.
It has. A lot of people. I know somebody whose 3-month-old cat had cancer. Brand new kitty. I was like, how does a kitten, a 3-month-old, 4-month-old kitten get cancer? That's crazy.
Yeah, unfortunately, they might have been next to the phone or anything with Wi-Fi, wireless, or Bluetooth.
Right. Wow. Yeah. That's just crazy. Just crazy. So, the 2 books we went over that you've authored, make sure everybody gets the download for free. And then also, talk about the phone consultations that you do. What does that look like? People call you and you kind of walk them through?
Sure. So I do in-house consultations in southern Utah, Arizona, Nevada, southern Nevada, and southern California. And then also...
in Costa Rica.
In Costa Rica.
Yeah, I had a call from someone in Costa Rica. So at 10 in the morning, I got a call, and 8:30 that night, I was on a plane to Costa Rica.
Very nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
It's a interesting call.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting call.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's great.
And then the phone consultation, what will happen if someone actually, there's no one near, like a certified electromagnetic radiation specialist, so we send them the questionnaire, we go over that, and then they buy the residential meters like this.
Okay,
so,
and that's the one you said was $158.
$58.
And where do they get that from?
A place to get it is greenwavefilters.com.
Greenwavefilters.com. Greenwavefilters.com.
Greenwavefilters.
Wave.
Greenwavefilters.com. And then actually, since people have heard me on this call, they're allowed now to use my discount code. So they can type in the discount code SAFE7. SAFE 7.
Number 7.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's a discount code. Wonderful.
And then the meter, the little brother of this, uses the same antenna, and it's called Safe and Sound Classic.
Safe and Sound Classic.
Yeah. So if someone was going to buy 1 meter, I would buy the Safe and Sound Classic, because then they can go around their house and they can tell what's producing the Wi-Fi, wireless, or Bluetooth, and what the levels are, and so they can keep themselves safe, their kids safe, as well as their pets.
Wonderful. That's another call to action you guys have now. Greenwavefilters.com. You want to order the Safe and Sound Classic if you're not going to have Bill come out.
Right.
And you want to be able to monitor your own home and do your own, audits within your house. And it's called a Safe and Sound Classic. And then if you want the discount code, that is SAFE7. Yep. So wonderful. That's a great resource for people. But tell us about what does an audit report look like? Well, all done.
What I have is I have so from Germany we have no concern, slight concern, severe concern, extreme concern. So we have it for all 6 different radiations, and then when we do a audit, then we'll put the number in one of those columns, so a person can tell if they're in the no concern, slight concern, severe, or extreme. And then once we measure it, if I'm coming out to their home, then we spend the next 75% of the time after measuring we start to reduce that. And so we can reduce it a pretty good amount, a very, very good amount with that. I can't give you actual numbers, because everyone's different.
But
Right.
often it's by 90%.
Over 90.
Goodness
Over
gracious.
90%.
Yeah.
So if you want a way to block radiation poisoning up to 90%, you'll want to be looking into the 99 tips, the exposed, or have Bill come out and do an audit with a report for you and find out what meters you need, find out what filters will work. But this is a big deal, especially now that 5G is rolling out.
I might add, he always presents a good, better, or best solution, depending on what the homeowner can live with.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and so they determine what it is. So some homeowners can turn off their Wi-Fi, others they can't. So the solution is to put a bag over the router or something like that. So as Lois said, good, better, and best solutions. So
That's
someone
wonderful.
can look at the risk and look at what they're willing to do.
Right, and it won't be, this is too much for me, I'm not even going to worry about it.
Right.
Because I've
He'll
done
work-
that, especially when I was raising the
he'll
girls. I
work
was like,
with the
if I can't
homeowner.
figure out, if I can't figure it out easily, I wasn't going to do it. So that's great.
And I carry all the supplies with me. If I come out to a home, then we're actually doing it right there on the spot. And we have a measurement before and measurements after so they can see right in front of their
So
eyes.
tell me, what do you feel is one of the most incredible stories of how people's lives changed because you did one of these audits?
So I had a lady, she was in Tacoma, Washington. And well, when I first did the book, I was speaking at the LA Cancer Convention, and I just want to say that when this first came out on Amazon, it was #1 in all of Amazon in the health, fitness, and safety area when
I
it
bet.
first came out.
I
And
bet.
so we're speaking after we got done. After I got done presenting one of the times at the Los Angeles Cancer Convention, the annual convention, I'm signing books, and this lady comes up, and she got a book, and I'm signing the book, and she just had to tell me, "You saved my daughter's life." So she did some things to change, and but what happened? One of the things that happened here in Nevada is a lady moved from Tacoma, Washington, moved to Henderson, and again, towns are all about the same. It just depends. Do you see a cell tower 2
Right.
blocks away, or
Right.
is it 3 miles away? And so I don't want to say anything about Henderson because everything's about the same. But she had high dirty electricity. So that was the electricity on the wires. It's high frequency voltage, transients, and harmonics. It's spikes of radiation thousands of times a second. And so she was in her late 50s. She was a real vibrant person. She came down to Henderson and she lived in this home. And again, I want to specify it was the home, not necessarily the town. And all of a sudden, after about 4 months, she was feeling bad, started using a cane. Couldn't get around without a cane. So went into her home, measured the dirty electricity, 2,000, and then we put in the filters. I got a text from her probably 3 or 4 weeks later. She said, "I threw away my cane. I'm
my
walking
goodness,
normally."
Right. Wow.
So those are one of those nice stories that don't happen all the
It can
time.
reduce the cellular inflammation that
Absolutely.
causes pain.
Yes.
Radiation goes in and disrupts your cells, so there's lack of oxygen flow. So there's lack of rejuvenation going on when you're being hit with so much radiation. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Yeah, it's 100% right. What it does is the radiation actually compromises the blood-brain barrier, reduces the immunity,
Compromises your blood-brain barrier.
right? Opens up the blood-brain barrier. So aspartame, the famous diet drink sweet,
Well, they call it
Yeah.
blue death. I
Yeah.
think is its clinical name. Yeah.
whatever. And one of the reasons it got approved is it would never get into the brain. They said this would harm your brain. Now when you have radiation, your brain actually, the blood-brain barrier starts to open up, and that actually can get into the brain. But your immunity is dropped as well. So you have stress proteins that are produced and some other things. So those, and plus your DNA is broken. So these are all, there's over 5,000 studies done by MDs and PhDs that show all the health effects of this particular one. Another story I had, and someone will say, well, it's not going to happen to a younger person. So we went out to a house in Southern California. It was a firefighter's house, and we're going through the house, and he brings out his 19-year-old son. And he said, here's my 19-year-old son. Oh, okay. And he just had a hip replacement. How could a 19-year-old son have a hip replacement? So what he did is when he was a freshman in high school, he took his phone and put it in his front pocket. Kept it there all 4 years through high school. Graduated from high school, hiking behind his house, jumped off a rock, broke his hip. They rushed him to emergency. The doctor, she put him up on a table. She started to go through the skin. The first thing she saw was a huge tumor right where he carried the phone.
My goodness.
And then
19 years old.
19 years old. Then she went through the tumor. She couldn't believe her eyes. She could take her finger and put it right through the hip. The hip was completely dissolved. 19.
Wow.
And that's from the radiation. Even if you're not making a call, it's still putting out radiation thousands of times.
Yeah, keep the phone
high
away
level.
from your body. Keep the phone away from your body. And another thing that really disrupts immunity is these shots. So make sure you please give to Banners for Freedom so we can let people know how many, a very small number of the cases of people being injured by that jab. And the other thing I want to give a plug to today is this website right here. Plandemic.
Yes.
If you have not seen these movies, they're banned and censored everywhere. I hope you can see that well enough. And if you can, hopefully right there, Plandemic. Plandemic3.com is the new one. If you haven't seen the one and two, you can go to plandemicseries.com and see all three. So plandemicseries.com or plandemic3.com, and please make sure you're getting educated and educating your family. There's all kinds of documentaries out on the harms of a lot of these so-called vaccines. They're not really, this one is really not a vaccine, it's an experimental gene therapy, but this is some great ways to learn more about that. If you can look those up on YouTube right now, or on this website, which is seventhchakrafilms.com, seventhchakrafilms.com. And I have to also give a huge thank you to my dear friend Shemen. Shemen Blocky came in with her husband Jim Blocky, and I wanted to show you these gifts she gave me. She brought me every kind of honeybee pins that she could find, and honeybee ring. And the earrings I already had. I found those on my own. But this honeybee is actually drinking the honey.
Oh, wow.
So I just want to make sure I tell her how thankful I am for her and for these goodies. It really blesses me that she did this for me. So I'm not sure how much time we have left. I wanted to squeeze that in there. And I'm so grateful that Lois and Bill, you were here today. This has been a huge deal to me for a few years now. I've been trying to tell my daughter for at least 3 years how bad I felt the boxes in the house were.
Yeah.
And I've known about the microwave, like I said, for many years. So this has all come forward to be able to share this information. Stop the electronic sickening of America. Go to their website, stopdirtyelectricity.com. Make sure you get your download your 10 plus 1 bonus tips for reducing radiation and exposure and wireless radiation exposure. And then also make sure you go on there and look for their books, Exposed and the Quick and Easy EMF Guide, 99 Tips. And then the other websites again for other resources is the lessemf.com for the bag, the covering. And then the other website was greenwavefilters.com.
Right. And then the Green Wave would also have the filter as well.
But that's kind of hard for them to figure out on their own.
Some people react okay, just with the standard filter.
Okay.
So I do a biocompatibility test
Right.
just to make sure. And then I did
Bill,
want,
go ahead.
Yeah, I did want to make sure. In the Exposed book, there's actually 24 tips how to make where you sleep a sanctuary, to cut the radiation. So it's
Wonderful.
actually, and there's over 30 pages of solutions in here as well.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
So
because that's where you heal, is when you sleep.
right, we're repair.
So
Our
PJ,
cells
the
are
good
repairing.
news is there are things we can do.
Right.
Most
Easily.
of them are very inexpensive. to reduce the radiation.
Yeah, that's what's so exciting, is that it's not a hard task to overcome. It's not a big hurdle to try to figure out how to save your family, spare your family, but it is a way that you can help your family stay healthy or protect them from this excessive poisoning. We've been poisoned in every way possible, it seems like these days, from chemtrails to the shots to radiation to all the phosphorus in the foods and the destroying our food supply. I mean, every single category. The fluoride they put in the water told us was good for us. You know, I found out fluoride was originally invented for producing pictures for film. For film. It was a film solution.
Yeah. Ooh.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Crazy. During one of the wars, and they had excess, and we can sell it for this other way. Like, what?
Hey, Lois, do you want to talk a little bit about kids and digital overload?
Yes.
You know,
My grandson's already getting purple eye syndrome.
I have a couple of chapters about what it's doing to our children, psychologically, emotionally,
Is that in this
socially.
one?
No,
In this one.
in the
In
art
Exposed.
book.
Yeah.
So make sure you see that. If you have children, you want to know. I mean, what's the one most important responsibility we have as parents, except to keep them healthy, right? So if you can read a chapter in here about just one simple way, some simple steps and tips you can do, why not do that? I mean, I definitely want to figure out how to protect my grandson, because he's totally into his gaming and coding and hacking and whatever else. He hacked the computers at school when he was in first grade.
Wow.
Yeah, and we asked him why, and he said, well, because I saw things that kids shouldn't see. And I was like, okay. So, that's like 6 years old, 7 years old.
Wow.
He's almost
Amazing.
11 now, and
Wow.
he got into the gifted and academically talented program. And so it's very, very exciting. So make sure you educate yourself, and make sure you, most importantly, take good care of yourself and your family, and protect the children. It is really planned for them. I mean, there's behind the scenes, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and wickedness from on high. And a lot of this is about the wickedness. They want to kill off a lot of the population, and this is one way that they are doing it. It is succeeding. Their plan is, but we, like Lois said, we have options. We have ways to protect ourselves. Please protect you and your family, and make sure you come back, and welcome you back next time when we're on Honeybees, and talk to some more empowering truths. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Longest dream